said that. What should I say? What should I do? Have you ever been there? If you have, chances are this wasn't the first or the last time that this person has made a rude comment. At least they're consistent in their toxicity. Here's how you can respond the next time it happens without escalating the situation, making it awkward for everyone around you, or making yourself look bad. The instinct 90% of people have in these situations is,
you won't get away with this.
But acting out on this instinct will guarantee that you make the situation worse for yourself and make your toxic coworker look good. To handle these situations correctly, you first need to understand the dynamics at play and exactly how dealing with this behavior won't just ruin your day, it can sabotage your career. When you're the target of bad behavior at work, your boss will not see it that way. This is what researchers at Harvard have found. And as if that wasn't bad enough, they found more. In a study, they found that when you're the target of toxic behavior at work, you will also most likely be perceived as your boss as a low performer, even if you have the receipts to prove otherwise. Which means not only do you have the headaches of dealing with this awful coworker, it can cost you your big pay raise and a promotion. So what do? Well, you can ignore it. That's probably what you've been doing already. The situation won't improve, but maybe it won't get worse. Alternately, you can give your toxic coworker a dose of their own medicine and clap back. It's probably gonna feel really good in the moment, but you'll be reinforcing the belief that you are the problem and not them, and it can cause the whole situation to escalate. I think that you'll agree that both of those options suck. So we're gonna do what we do around here and create a third option that is going to work for you and will neutralize the insult, reestablish your authority, and starve your toxic coworker of the one thing that they're craving more than anything. We have to start with the thing that you're going to do automatically, even though it signals to your bad coworker and everyone around you that they haven't just gotten to you, they've defeated you. It probably looks something like this. It's like you shrink yourself so maybe people won't see you, because how you are being treated is not the way you want to be seen. You are someone who should be respected, and you should be seen as the baddie that you are. There are 2 power moves you can use to instantly shift the situation to establish yourself as such. First, do not shrink. Nonverbal communication is incredibly powerful. If you shrink yourself, you're signaling embarrassment, defeat, and shame not only to the offensive coworker, but to everyone who's witnessing the situation. Not the vibe you want. Instead, do your best to maintain your body language as much as possible. This signals to everyone that the insult had no impact on you. The next power move won't just signal your confidence in that moment, it can also make your coworker aware of their toxic behavior and stop them in their tracks. There's a saying that eyes are the windows of the soul. Well, one of the most powerful things you can do is maintain eye contact with your rude coworker. There was a study that looked at the impact of eye contact on people who are breaking social norms, like by telling a coworker that they look like they gained a few pounds. And they found that simply holding eye contact can trigger embarrassment in the offending actor, which in turn can cause them to immediately restrain their behavior. While your rude coworker might be a toxic person who is trying to hurt you, chances are they're not. As my favorite saying goes, don't assume malice when stupidity will suffice. When I asked the career bestie community for examples of things that rude coworkers have said, I got a ton of replies. And something jumped out immediately. While there were definitely overtly offensive things that had been said, that wasn't the case in most instances. Instead, it's much more likely that you're dealing with a passive-aggressive coworker. They won't outright question your competence, but they'll undermine everything you say in meetings, which can be incredibly frustrating to deal with, especially because some people won't notice your coworker's passive-aggressive comments, and you'll feel like you're being gaslit because you're the only one who sees the problem. Or people will see that and they'll be like, is she gonna take that? Addressing passive-aggressive coworkers is incredibly easy. Take everything they say at face value. Taking everything at face value accomplishes 2 things. First, assuming your passive-aggressive coworker wasn't trying to be toxic, it gives them the opportunity to save face. But more importantly, it reframes the situation for everyone around you. People around you might not have picked up on it, or they might not have been paying attention at all, which means a negative reaction can both draw attention to it and affirm the insult. Not what we're trying to do. But when you proceed as though your coworker meant exactly what they said, that will shift the perception for everyone around you. And low-key, how annoying is it going to be for your coworker who meant to insult you, but instead ended up making you look good? But what about those situations where it's not a sneaky snide comment, but a serious boundary breach? In situations like that, you can't ignore them, but you can't take them at face value either. So what do? You'll do exactly what you would do at a dinner party where everything is fantastic, amazing, delicious, except the host decided to serve your most detested food, Brussels sprouts. You hate them so much that even for $1,000, you're not willing to eat even one. When they're passing around the plates and you're offered the Brussels sprouts, you don't recoil. You don't react in outrage that they have the audacity to put Brussels sprouts into your vicinity. You probably just politely decline. In the situations, the Brussels sprouts are your boundary, and your refusal to have one is politely expressing that boundary. You can do this with coworkers too. We all know they're sometimes worse than Brussels sprouts. I know a lot of you struggle with boundary enforcement because it feels really close to conflict. You don't want to make things all tense, but that's not required. In fact, one of my favorite ways to enforce boundaries is with humor. Without undermining your wants and needs, incorporating humor is like taking sugar with medicine. It makes it go down without the drama. That said, in some cases, a more direct angle might be needed. No matter your approach, calling it out can be incredibly effective in shutting down rude behavior. But that isn't the only thing you want to do. You also want to stop that coworker from ever targeting you with their rude comments again. And when you learn the motivation behind your rude and toxic coworker's behavior and use it to respond, not only is your rude coworker not going to get what they really want in the situation, they are never going to target you again. Your coworker is not making snarky remarks and being rude for no reason. Chances are they're sitting in that meeting and no one is paying attention to them. But they know that if they can get a laugh, even if it's at your expense, or say something unnecessarily critical, all eyes are going to be on them. It's their chance to snatch the stage and get the thing they so desperately want. They're willing to do anything to get it. Attention.
Somebody, please look at me.
Since they either don't know how or don't have the ability to get attention in a more productive way, this is what they have resorted to. If the rude comment works, they're rewarded with the attention that they want, and they're going to do it again. So what you're going to do is hijack the attention back, starving them of the supply they so desperately crave, and force them to go somewhere else for a hit. First, follow all the steps I've already laid out to neutralize it. When you suck all the drama out of the moment, people will be as interested in it as they are in owning a pair of bedazzled Crocs. Next, you are going to redirect. Not to yourself, but to someone else. The aim in this is not to triangulate and try to get everyone on your side. It's to get back on topic, away from the rude comment, and get attention on anyone other than your toxic coworker or you. If your coworker goes after someone else at this point, the D-bag vibes are going to be undeniable. They know this, and chances are they're not willing to fully out their toxic selves. So they're gonna behave and leave you alone. But what do you do when what they said was unignorably awful, or you've tried to redirect attention and they keep on bringing it back to you, obviously lacking the attention to know what a bad show they're putting on? Now it's time to call them out, but not in a how dare you sort of way. No, we're gonna take the approach that makes your rude coworker walk through their toxicity to everyone. It's a little bit petty, but it's really effective. It's also a chance to make sure that there's not a miscommunication or you're misinterpreting something they said, because as we already discussed, don't assume bad intention when stupidity is probably what's at play. You're going to call them out without actually calling them out. It's shockingly simple to do. Simply ask clarifying questions. Now, I'm going to give you 3 questions that you can use in almost every situation, but I cannot stress this enough. You must use a neutral tone and project confidence whenever you use them. The first question is, what do you mean? Play stupid and make them explain it to you in detail. Especially if you're dealing with a passive-aggressive coworker, you are going to find that most people backpedal hard when asked this question. The next question is, what's your goal? This question is a prompt to find out what they're really trying to get at. Especially if someone is trying to be stealth, this forces them to lay all of their cards out on the table. This next question should be used when paired with the next strategy that I'm going to share with you. And it should be reserved for the most obvious situations where everyone is looking at you like, yes, that just happened. And this isn't really a question, it's more of a statement. When you say it, you need to be taking up as much space as possible. I hope that made you feel good. This calls out that you see exactly what you are doing, and then you are going to take the next step. You are going to walk away. This isn't always possible. Like walking on a conversation with your boss or out of a leadership meeting might not be things that you're able to do. But in informal situations like the over the water cooler kind of deal, it's possible to just leave. Because you don't deserve their snarky commentary or their disrespect. You know that you're better than that and you are too good to stoop to their level. Which leads me to the holy grail of shutting down rude or passive-aggressive coworkers instantly. This is next level stuff that everyone should aspire to, because once you have it nailed, no one is going to mess with you. Do not be insultable. Is that even a word? Well, I'm running with it. I'm a woman who lives on the internet. You should see what is thrown at me on a daily basis. Yet, none of it makes me flinch. Is it because I'm perfect? F no, just look at these teeth. It's because of this. If there is nothing you hate about yourself, doubt about yourself, or haven't accepted about yourself, it's not possible to insult you. This is the vibe I want you to have. So go watch this video so you can start building that unshakable confidence in yourself.